What's going on, you guys? Today we're going to be learning the song Feeling Whitney by Post Malone. This is a super fun yet super simple fingerstyle song that I think you're really going to enjoy learning. But real quick before we get into it, I would like to ask that if you find this guitar tutorial helpful, that you consider subscribing. That would really mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate that. Now let's get into it. You are watching Logan's Lessons. We are in standard tuning, no capo is necessary. First, let's get the verse chord progression, and then I'll teach you the fingering for our right hand. We start with the C major chord. To play a C major chord, you will place your third finger on the third fret of your A string, your middle finger on the second fret of your D string, and your first finger on the first fret of the B string. You then head over to an A minor chord. To play an A minor chord, you're going to place your middle finger on the second fret of your D, your third finger on the second fret of your G, and your first finger on the first fret of your B. That's an A minor chord. Thirdly, we have an F major chord. To play an F major, you will place your third finger on the third fret of your A string, your pinky right below that on the third fret of your D string, your middle finger on the second fret of your G, and your first finger on the first fret of your B. Very good. And then you go back to the C major. Now, while we are here discussing our left hand, there is a transitional chord between the verse and the chorus, which is a C7. Basically, you have your C major chord, and all we have to do is we have to add our pinky on the third fret of the G string, like that. Makes it a little fancy. Now let's talk about our right hand. We will pick the A string with our thumb, the G string with our middle finger, the D string with our first finger, and finally the B string with our third. And that repeats. A string, G string, D string, B string, A string, G string, D string, B string, so on and so forth. And that applies to all of the chords in the verse. If I do that with the verse chord progression, do that with me. Muy bueno. So just remember at the end of the verse there you have the C7 chord. And that drops you into the chorus. Now before we learn the chorus, I did want to mention that the intro of this song is just a C major chord. Now you pick it in a different fashion. You play the A string, the B string, the A string, the G string, the A string, B string, A string, G string. And you do that for a little while before we start the oohs. And that's when you get into the verse chord progression. And so on and so forth. Chorus time now. We have the same picking pattern and we start on an F. To the C. Back to the F. Back to the C. So F, C, F, C. And then right here we go to a G major. To play a G major chord, we will place our third finger on the third fret of our low E string, our middle finger on the second fret of our A string, and then our pinky finger on the third fret of our high E string. Now, we change the picking pattern so that we play the low E, B string, G string, high E string, like that. And then we have one last chord in the chorus, which is a G7 chord. We play the G chord in this fashion, by the way. This might be not what you're used to because of this next chord, which is the G7. To play the G7, we take our pinky finger off of the high E, and instead we place our first finger on the first fret of our high E string. Same picking pattern as the G major. So, if I play the entire chorus for you. go back into the oohs, which you just play the verse. Do that with me. So then you go back into some oohs, a verse, a chorus, some more oohs, and you land on a C major chord. And that is how you play Feeling Whitney. If you have a song request, comment it or DM me. If you wish to be notified of future videos, hit the bell. I sincerely hope that you are well. Please do me a favor and hit that like button blue. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe too. I hope this video has been a blessing. You've been watching Logan's Lessons.